righty. Well, one thing I can tell you about James Hallet, it is his debut tonight. I talked to him yesterday at weigh-ins. He said he's in a good space. Weight cut was easy, and he's ready to get out there.
How much do you think this guy's cutting weight for these amateur fights?
Well, it's honestly, it's hard to tell because this guy is, it's already it's his debut. So with fighters, you get some guys that are very accustomed to cutting weight and they kind of learn their bodies. One guy I talked to, that's a prime example, that was Hallet Denard yesterday. He said, I can kind of, instead, earlier on in my career where I would have just cut a bunch of weight one day in, right. He says, I season my body and I get it going over the course of the week so that on the last day he's not, starving himself just to make that weight. So really, who's to say? I can only take him at his word.
Copy that. It must be such a thrill to be stepping in the cage for the first time in front of this crowd here. These RFC fights are known for getting rowdy with the crowd. So much energy.
Absolutely. And one thing about James, too, is he's just a fantastic human, very humble. And I had the chance to interview him yesterday, and totally not a guy that is going to really take this opportunity for granted. And he said he's going to go in there, try to implement his game plan. He wouldn't tell me what that was because he said he didn't want to give too much away, but he's ready to go for sure.
Nice. Do you know if his opponent tonight, if he is also making his debut tonight?
I'm not sure. There wasn't that much I could find on his opponent, to be honest. I believe it is also his opponent's debut, Tenzin. So it's going to be an interesting one to see just not only these guys get in there and fight, but also how someone that's just starting out is going to navigate with circling out of things, with throwing certain combinations. I mean, there's really no way to know how this bout is going to look because there's simply no information on either of these guys. But, I mean, James looks like he's bounced. He's ready to go. And, I mean, certainly he looks like he's been on weight. He looks in really good shape.
I tell you, some of the names on this card are great tonight. I was telling Vladimir to Jesus yesterday. I was like, bro, I wouldn't want to fight you because of your name.
Yeah. It's also just like, how am I going to pronounce some of these names? I don't want to butcher anyone's names and they come down, and I have to see them about it in the interview, the post-fight interview. Here comes his opponent. Looking ready, looking sharp, focused.
Tenzin Khetsun.
Trains out of Glory MMA. That's a very accredited gym. Yeah, James gives you a little smile and nod. He's ready to go.
Yeah, he's happy. He's feeling it.
I think the biggest thing with these guys, especially making their debut, and as you go over the course of being in the amateurs, is really the mental component. I don't think personally that there's that big of a skills gap. It's more so who implements their will first.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our first fight of the evening. It's scheduled for 3 2-minute rounds. The referee in charge of the action, Chris Romulo. First, introducing and fighting out of the blue corner, he stands at 5 foot 10 inches tall, weighing in at 155 pounds, under American Top Team. Give it up, James Hallet. And his opponent, standing and fighting out of the red corner, stands at 5 foot 10 inches tall, weighing in at 155 pounds, under Glory MMA. Give it up, Tenzin the Yeti Khetsun.
Tenzin the Yeti.
Yes.
All right.
What a nickname. That was a talented Steve Mason, and we are ready to go for the first bout of the evening. Both these guys look like they're ready to get after it.
Oh. No.
Now's one of the only times where this arena has been completely quiet since we've gotten here.
All right.
James doing a good job here of circling, but Tenzin doing a good job of kind of applying pressure, pushing the pace.
Tenzin landing a nice right cross down the pipe.
It's good to see both guys kind of utilizing leg kicks early, and James is doing the large amount of connecting early on in this bout. He's really finding some success with his hands.
He really is. He just landed that right hook twice.
And you'll see a lot of times when guys get hit at this level, they'll kind of flail their arms up in the air as their heads get knocked back. But one thing I like about James is, hey, he's keeping his hands up, right? You see a lot of guys forget about that. Hallet, one thing he told me was that's one thing he worked on in his fight camp is the simple part of just keeping your hands up. That's a big part of defense.
He's finding a home for that right hand.
Oh, my goodness. Down the pipe, absolutely.
Trading some high kicks.
Right. Utilizing good feints, too, here.
James definitely looks like the more calm and kind of settled fighter of the two of them at this point.
Absolutely. You could tell he's much more comfortable in there, and it seems like, if nothing else, he's been confident in his training. I mean, looking at this kid, you wouldn't know it's his debut.
No, not at all.
You'd think this guy had at least like 6-7 fights under his belt. Nice right by Tenzin. All right, little bit of a feeling out process, but not exactly a slow start either. Nice overhand. Oh, nice knee up the middle. You could hear that one. All right.
And that's the one thing, especially for these amateur fighters who don't really have the seasoned bodies.
Right.
You know, a knee to the solar plexus. Like,
yeah. And it's also, we got to look at, as these fights progress, you know, as these fights get later on, how is the gas tank going to figure in, right? Because it's easy to look good when you have a tank full of gas, but if you're, let's just say, 4 rounds into a 5-round fight and you're sweating and you're exhausted, like, how do you look then?
Yeah, absolutely. Also including like the adrenaline dump, which happens for amateurs and pros alike. But starting off with these amateur fighters with their first fight ever in their career, there's gonna be that adrenaline dump.
And you listen, credit to both guys. You didn't really see, who's to say what they're feeling right now, but even if they did have those dumps, you're not seeing it. Both guys have been incredibly poised, are looking to find their own shots. They're not overextending, trying to find anything, and both have had solid connections early.
Absolutely. Do you train, Coop?
I do not. I just watch way too much UFC and analysis and breakdowns and
I
stuff
love it.
like that.
I love your story, though, that you're going to broadcast school and you reached out to the RFC, said, hey, I want to do this, and here you are.
I would not want to be anywhere else. These guys are the most, I'll say it here, the best regional promotion in the Northeast.
Absolutely.
You heard it here. All righty, round 2. Let's get it. You know, James has also been finding a lot of success with that body kick. This little switch kick to a right hand by Tenzin there. And I'm not quite sure what James could be looking for. Maybe more right hands, but he is doing a good job of having Tenzin bite on his feints. I don't know if he's trying to set anything up or he had anything that he drilled in particular coming into this in mind, but it's looked like he's just reading what the opponent is giving him. Both men are.
You know, I don't know if he's at the point in his career to see this or recognize this, but Tenzin has a habit of reaching down with his left hand to try to grab that low kick.
Yes.
If he sees that, he can take advantage of that.
That's what I was going to say, a nice feint and then a head kick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. These guys have headgear on, so it might be, I don't know if it would be a knockout, but.
It would be make a point, though, if he threw out a question mark kick and caught him with it.
Exactly. It's going to be interesting to see. And these guys have had some pretty diverse arsenals. It's like, what do these guys, what can they throw? Do they really have a question mark kick in their arsenal to throw? Or is it going to be something more like your standard leg kicks, body kicks, and
I would think at this point they're really going to be sticking to just the basics.
Yeah, you don't want to do anything too flashy and risk getting flatlined in front of all these people. Definitely not. Just thinking about what I would do, but I'm over here in the commentary. Yeah, James repeatedly has just found so much, to your point. Yeah, there we go. He's found so much success there with that right, and then also getting Tenzin to kind of look to catch that low kick.
Yeah, absolutely. That's probably the 4th knee of the fight he's landed as well.
Yeah. Respect between the two. Honestly, I mean, I don't know who I'd give that second round. I might have given the first to James, but I don't know. That one was a little bit more, or a little bit, less clear cut to me, personally.
It's interesting to note James taking the stool, Tenzin deciding to keep on his feet.
I wonder how much of that is Jim's trying to use that as a practice. You know, some guys will do that to get in their opponent's heads, but I feel like some gyms might say, hey, listen, we're warriors here. We're not sitting down on the stool in between rounds. We need to, it's like a show of strength, basically.
Yes.
Saying, you know, like, is that the best you got? I'm standing up in between rounds. I don't even need to take a seat. But both guys have looked tremendous, I got to say. For an opening bout, very, very good. And especially these guys' debuts. I know I said it a lot, but these guys have been fantastic.
No, absolutely. They can be nothing but proud of themselves for the performance they're putting on tonight.
Oh, absolutely. All right, third and final. I mean, do you have any idea who could be ahead in this fight? I mean, I'm really not sure.
I don't know. I mean, I guess since the round 2 was it's kind of up in the air, we both kind of feel that James may have taken the first round. I can say that James may have the edge, but Tenzin was really coming on strong with some crazy combinations there at the last round, so we'll see what happens. But there's that 1-2 again.
Yeah, and you know what? I think where Tenzin shines is when they collide, right? Like these NASCAR-type collisions, he's able to kind of dictate where and when the fight takes place and pressure. But James just has amazing counters, right? Like you see, yeah, Tenzin steps in there and James fires a 1-2. He's had so much success with that 1-2, and it's any time that the Tenzin enters the pocket there. Even the signature little spin, man. These guys.
Tenzin's coming on strong, though.
Yeah.
There's a knee up the middle again, though.
Cutting off doing a fantastic job of cutting off the cage. And listen, credit to James also for not letting that throw him off his rhythm. You know, he's firing back. He's not just content to sit there and kind of shell up like you see from some guys. He's saying, all right, well, you know what? I'm going to take 2 from you. I'm going to give 2 back.
Ooh, Tenzin stepping in with the uppercut,
yeah,
exactly.
Very nice. It's kind of like a shovel uppercut or a shovel hook almost, like a 45-degree angle type thing. All right, a little bit of a lull time, lull down time.
Yeah, I mean, Tenzin's taking a bit of a breath after that, like, 30-hit combo just put out there.
And well, that's the problem with it. You know, you have to worry about snaps the head back. Oh my goodness!
He's been looking for that all this round.
The fadeaway head kick there. That's something you have to worry about. You have to, if you want to be a guy that pushes the pace in a fight. I mean, it goes without saying for anyone listening at home, but you have to have the cardio to supplement that. That just makes guys like Kobe Covington in the UFC so great. Is not only can he pressure, but he has that gas tank that he can continue to apply.
Quick pick. Who do you got, Kazmat or Kobe?
That's so tough.
I know, right?
Khamzat, he's looked unstoppable. But, I mean, my God, it's just been down the middle. Quick prediction, I got Khamzat. For this fight, I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea, though.
You know what? I'm going to go with Tenzin. I think Tenzin really poured it on strong in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
I think he may have got the 2nd round, so I think it really comes down to that 2nd round.
Gun to my head, I'd have to go Tenzin because he was just the more active fighter. James did a very, very good job, though, of repeatedly finding that 1-2 and making it hard for Tenzin to mount any sort of offense.
I tell you what, I mean, these guys, at least for James, for being his first fight, it has to be one of Tenzin's first fight if it's not his first.
Yes.
They went out there, they put on a good fight.
What a couple of warriors, man. I mean, that was a fun fight to watch. And listen, if that's any indication for what we're going to be seeing for the rest of the night, dude, we got some bangers coming up, man. I'm excited. I'm ready. Tenzin forces his gloves off there.
Yeah, so this is the interesting thing, right? So the blue corner and the red corner headgear and gloves will go back to the locker room and be put on the next fighter real quick. So that's why they're always like kind of making that happen as soon as possible.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's got to get sweaty after a while. All righty, let's throw it over to Steve Mason in the cage.
Fighters, please come to the center of the cage. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for your winner by way of split decision and fighting out of the red corner, Tenzin the Yeti Khetsun.
What's up? All right, cool.
All righty, well,